Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Well, come on in here and let's study together today. This is your home for 5-minute Bible study, 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week, studying the Psalms verse by verse. That is my elevator pitch. So if we get on an elevator together, that's what you're going to hear me say. So Daily Dose Radio here. This is the first Friday in December. And I just want to remind you, because we are now in December, that I'm going to be taking off the last week that we'll be broadcasting will be the week of Christmas, which will be the 22nd through the 26th. I'll be taking off that week, and then also the week following, and probably the week after that, because I'll be out of town and different things, family and so forth. So while I'm away, just remember now you can go get Daily Dose Radio, on your favorite podcasting app and like it. Make it your daily go-to when you open up that app. Go to Spreaker and get it off Spreaker. Go, to YouTube and like me and subscribe on YouTube, and that way you'll get all the updates when Daily Dose Radio comes out with a new episode. And here today we're looking at the last two verses in Psalm, not the last two verses for this week, verses 19 and 20. Psalm 18 is rather long. It's 50 verses, and it's just that important that it's that long. This is David's grand poetry, the greatest of all. And here we come to verse 19 and 20, and we've seen this week the theophany of prayer, God coming down in his battle array and doing battle for the psalmist simply because the psalmist prayed. When the saints pray, God moves. He does. He hears and answers prayer. We say that so often that I think we forget just how meaningful that is, not only to us, but to the Lord. It's just that meaningful. So today we're looking at 19 and 20, and yesterday we looked at verse 16, where in the Lord, verse 17 and 18, and there he said, "The Lord was my stay." In the midst of all that trouble, the Lord was his stay, and that the Lord had delivered him and drew him up out of many waters there in 16. And now today in 19, he continues this idea of deliverance. And this really is David's praise in view of God's deliverance of him. So, if you have your Bible there, let's read together verses 19 and 20. "He brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. The Lord rewarded me according to my righteousness. According to the cleanness of my hands hath he recompensed me." Alrighty. Well, there's verses 19 and 20. And not only is this a beautiful verse as the psalmist writes it, as David writes it, he brought me forth into a large place. Because, isn't it interesting that the Lord's way is a narrow way, but his deliverance is a broad thing. He puts us in a broad place. And this idea of the broad place is seen several times in the Psalms, where this is the place that's level. This is the place that's sure. This is the place where the foot doesn't slip. The wicked are not put on a large, broad place. They're put on a narrow, slippery slope where their foot's going to slip and they're going to go down. But the righteous are delivered, and they're delivered into a broad place, level, sure, stable. It's not going to be moved. And so here, David says, he delivered me, he drew me up out of many waters there in 16. And then in 19, he says, he brought me forth to this large place, to a broad place. And he delivered me. There it is again. Deliverance is what David wants. And why? Now notice, because he delighted in me, he rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands hath he recompensed me. I think suddenly now we're not talking about David any longer, but we're talking about Christ. Christ was delivered because God delighted in him, because of his righteousness, and because of the cleanness of his hands. And so he was resurrected from the dead. He was delivered from corruption. It was not possible that the Holy One should see corruption because he was the Holy One of God, God's own Son, God in very human flesh, incarnate, the Creator God, the pre-existent God. That's who Jesus was. And so when we have this description here in Psalm 18, 19 and 20, delighted according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands, hath he recompensed me. I think we're speaking here of the resurrection of Christ, covertly maybe, but I think that's what David has in mind here when he writes this. Okay, join me again next time, and we're going to look at beginning in verse 21, and we'll go down through verse 30 in Psalm 18. So join me then here on Daily Dose Radio.